Have you ever gotten up in the morning and the first thing that you say to yourself is, I'm not going to binge today. I'm not going to binge today. And then you keep that going as a mantra all day long. I'm not going to binge. 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 But then, unfortunately, what ends up happening? And then how do you end up feeling? Yeah, I've been there before, and all of my coaching clients who have struggled with the binge eating disorder have been there too. The good news is you do not have to stay there. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 mistakes to avoid so that you can actually get normal with food. Quit this binge eating cycle. But first, if you've never tuned into one of my videos before, my name is Jolynn Braley. I am the permanent weight loss coach who founded the Inner Self Diet. That is the diet that is not a diet. It's not a food diet. It's not an exercise program. And it's a diet that actually works because it heals the root of what is keeping you out of control with food and your weight. All right? If you're like everybody else, you think that the problem is the food, you think that the problem is the fat on your body, and you also think that the problem is your binge eating. But actually, the fat on your body is only a symptom of a much bigger problem, and it's that bigger problem that keeps driving your binge eating. So the solution is to heal the root that is driving your binge eating. Does this make sense? Are you getting it? And then once that is done, then you're able to break free of this binge eating problem. You break yourself out of that cycle and you can let this stuff go. You can get normal with food. You can live a healthy lifestyle, release the fat, lose the weight, and keep it off. All right? Does this make sense? Because if you really think about it, how will you ever get to a healthy weight and stay there until the binge eating is gone? Right? Are you following me? Okay. So 3 mistakes to avoid when you're caught up in this struggle with the food, the fat on your body, wanting to lose weight, but you can't stop the binge. All right. First mistake to avoid, stop beating yourself up. Okay. Obviously, if you could figure your way out of this with your analytical skills, you would have done that 10, 20, 30, or 40 years ago. Okay, if you're like my awesome coaching clients, you already know exactly what you need to be doing to live a healthy lifestyle, to lose weight, and actually even keep it off. But you can't stop this binge eating. So what's going on here is not only is there a subconscious foundation that is driving you to continue in this pattern, but also your brain makes it easy for you to keep going. Because your brain is going to make it easy for you to do whatever it is that you do most often. And your brain does not give a rip that you're miserable. Your brain cares that you're alive, you're breathing, you're surviving. It doesn't care that you hate yourself and you feel deep, 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 deep shame about your out of control eating and that you're trying to hide it from everybody, but unfortunately they know because they could see the weight on your body, right? So you got to do something radically different to get radically different results. And that's what I do with my coaching clients. I'll tell you before I'm done here, if you actually want help on how to fix this once and for all, I'll tell you what your first step is. Number 2 mistake to avoid when you are caught up in this binge eating problem, this binge eating cycle, this binge eating disorder, is to stop telling yourself that you can fix it all on your own. Do you know how many out there are struggling right now because they keep telling themselves they can do it on their own? And a big part of the problem here is the shame. You're ashamed of the state of your weight. You're ashamed of how bad it's gotten. You're ashamed that you've never been able to control this issue, which seems like it should be something really simple. And then that shame also keeps you in isolation and it's stopping you from reaching out to get the professional help that you could get to set yourself free. So what can you do to stop telling yourself you can do this on your own? If you could have done it, wouldn't you already have done it years and years and years ago? Right? Does this make sense? Number 3 mistake to avoid when you are stuck in this binge eating drama is to stop looking for another food diet that's going to fix it. Food diet's not going to fix it. All right. Now, don't get me wrong. You are going to have to change your lifestyle. You're going to have to change what you eat, how much you eat. You need to be eating only when you're physically hungry. Stop when you're physically full. Okay? If you want to lose weight and keep it off, you've got to change your diet and exercise habits. But how can you do that successfully, and how can you do it long term when you're still so out of control with food? You know, maybe you've been able to do it for a short time, but eventually you always hit that wall and you boomerang back and it all falls apart, right? So what do you want for yourself? Where do you want to be a year from now? Do you want to still be struggling with this problem? And I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because it never ends. I've been there before. And it just keeps going, and it gets intensively worse as you go along until you do something about it. And you can't see your own blind spots. Nobody can. It's not just you. No one can see their own blind spots. So where could you be a year from now if you were to heal the root of this problem now? If you really could get normal with food, what would that do for you? What would that do for your life? What would that do for every area of your life? How would it impact your relationships, your work life, your bank account? Have you ever noticed that when you're not confident and you don't believe in yourself and you don't have high self-worth, it impacts every area of your life? And how can you feel fantastic about yourself when you're so out of control with food? You know what I mean? So, hey, if you actually want help to fix this and you want to get it done as quickly as possible, then that is what I do with my private coaching clients. I've been doing this work since 2009, and every client that I've worked with who just simply keeps it simple, they listen to my steps, they hear me, right? And I walk them through my proven steps, and they follow my instructions, and they stay consistent, and it works. And it's not a food diet. It's about healing your inner self, to break yourself free, to get normal with food, to achieve that inner peace that you crave, and to feel awesome about yourself, to feel good in your own skin, and obviously to lose weight and keep it off, and to stop binge eating and, you know, break free of this struggle. If you want to do this and you're not willing to waste another year in this struggle, feeling so bad about yourself on a day-to-day basis, I mean, it just keeps going, you know, just keeps going. If you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, then head on over to www.discovery-session.com and fill out an application to get on the phone with me privately on a one-on-one complimentary weight loss discovery session call. That's the only way to find out if it's a good mutual fit for us to work together, for me to help you achieve that freedom that you deeply desire, so you can finally get normal with food, get to your ideal weight, and stay there. And once again, your first step is going to be found at www.discovery-session.com. I wish you your best life living inside of your ideal body. Yay!